Hello and welcome. I'm Sarah Wanyeki, and I'll be taking you through from knowing nothing to mastering the concept of HTML. Let's get started. For us to begin, there are a few tools that you need so that you can continue. Number one is a browser. So you need a browser of your choice. I will be using Google Chrome. The second one is Visual Studio Code, our code editor. If you don't have a Visual Studio Code, I have done a video on how to download and install Visual Studio Code. The link is in the description below. Pause the video, go install the Visual Studio Code, and then come back and continue with the tutorial. Let us continue. On your machine, create a folder and you can call it, let us call it HTML. Then open your Visual Studio Code, go to File, and then open Folder. Locate the folder which you've written HTML, click on it, say Select Folder, say you trust the author, give it permission. We want to create a file and a new file so that we can start our coding. Come here and click on it. You say new file. Click and write index.html. Name your file as index.html. Click on enter. It will now open a new file which is written index.html. We need to install something called Live Server extension. Come to this button and click on it, and then here on the search button, search for live or type Live Server. After that, click on enter and click on this and install. You'll see here it is written install. Click on it and install Live Server. Let us write some HTML code. Just type as follows. Click on Ctrl S to save our file, and let us see what we've written in a browser. We come here down where we said we need to install the Live Server extension. It will come down here on the right hand side. You'll see a place written Go Live. Down here it is written click to run Live Server. Click on it. Once you click on Go Live, the display or the results will look something similar to what is in my browser. As we begin our HTML course, the first thing we need to do is to look at the HTML style guide and some guidelines for creating a very good HTML code. The first thing is that always declare the document as the first line in your document. That is this doc type as we have it here. Get used to using lowercase element names. Also, close all HTML elements. This is the beginning tag and this is the end tag, the closing tag. Like we have here, HTML tag and the closing HTML. We have the body tag and the closing body tag. We have the opening of header 1 and the closing of header 1. So get used to closing all the tags that you start with. This is to say everything that has a beginning definitely has an end. So when you start a tag, make sure you end a tag so that you don't run into some errors. Always quote attribute values. We are going to look at this as we continue, and always specify alt, width, and height for images. These ones, we are going to look at them when we are going to learn about images. And there's something else that we call comments while writing our codes. It is very, very important for you to continue writing comments so that you can explain to yourself and also to somebody else that will come and read your code to understand what is it that you are doing. The next thing we are going to look at is basic HTML document structure. Let us learn how HTML really works. I will clear my file here. I will click on Shift and exclamation mark and hit on enter, and it is going to bring a code for me that is called a boilerplate. Now let us learn about this document structure of HTML. So we have the doc type HTML. This is the declaration that defines this document as an HTML document. This one here. Then we have HTML, and we have lang, which is language, and it is in English. So HTML element is the root element of an HTML page. Then we have the head element, contains meta information about the HTML page. The title page element specifies a title for the HTML page, which is shown in the browser's title bar or in the pages tab. We are going to look at this in a few. And then we have the closing tag of the head tag. Then we have the body element, which defines the document's body and is a container for all the visible contents such as headings, paragraphs, images, hyperlinks, tables, lists, and everything else that you are able to see in the browser. It comes in between the body tag, the opening, and the closing. This body element, everything else comes here. After that, now we have our closing element, which is the HTML closing element. Write on this title, write your page title. I will write mine. I will write my name, and in the body section I will write a header 1 and write hello world, and I will also write a paragraph and say my first paragraph. Go ahead, pause the video and type this code in your VS Code, and then save your work. Control save or come to file and save. Then you should come down here where you will see, come down here and click on go live. If you installed the live server, you should be able to see this icon here written go live. Click on it. After you click on it, your output would look something similar to what is displayed on the screen. Now we have our name here that is written Sarah Wanyeki. This is our title, the title of our page. It is written here, Sarah Wanyeki. It is displayed on top here. Then we have our header 1, which is written here, hello world, and my first paragraph. It is displayed here. And that is it. You have written your first code in HTML. Let us look at HTML attributes. HTML attributes provide additional information about HTML elements. Attributes are always specified in the start tag. Attributes usually come in name and value pairs, like name equals value in double quotes. We have several HTML attributes, like we have the href attribute, we have the source attribute, we have the alt attribute, we have the style attribute, and we have the lang attribute. Let us look at each one of them. The href attribute specifies the URL of the page the link goes to. You can write this link. I'll just copy and paste it here. You post it in the body, and then you Control S. You go to your browser, and it will bring the link here. If I click on this link, it's supposed to bring for me my portfolio. Let us go ahead and click, and it brings up my portfolio. We have something else that is called the source attribute. The image tag is used to embed an image in an HTML page. The source attribute specifies the path to the image to be displayed. The source attribute is a tag used to embed an image in an HTML page. We use this image tag and we use the source attribute, and we specify what is in that element. The next one is the alt attribute. It is the alternate text for an image. In place where an image is not being displayed, you are supposed to see or to read what was in that image, or what you expected to see. The alternate text will be girl with a jacket. Another attribute is the style attribute. It is used to add styles to an element such as color, font, size, and many more. So this one we are going to look at it when you're looking at styles. We have another attribute called the lang attribute. You should always include the lang attribute inside the HTML tag to declare the language of the web page, like we did here. The lang attribute, it is the language that you are using. So here we are putting an attribute for lang. It is EN, which stands for English. The next thing we are going to look at are HTML headings. HTML headings are titles or subtitles that you want to display on a web page. HTML headings are defined with the header 1 to header 6 tags, or H1 to H6 tags. It is easy to remember because it is heading. You just put on an H and you give it a letter, you give it a number, H1, which is the largest, to the smaller. Now go ahead and type in H1, and H1 we write hello world. I'll write your name. Then go ahead and write header 2, hello world, and header 6. That's it. Let us go and check our browser, and you will have something like that. So header 1 gives us the largest heading, followed by header 2, and header 6 is the smallest header that you have. Go ahead and do some practice on that, what we have learned. And the next one we are going to look at is HTML paragraphs. A paragraph always starts on a new line and is usually a block of text. The HTML p tag element defines a paragraph, like the one we used here. Key in our p tag and write, like mine, when you write Lorem, it is going to give you a sample text that you can use. You can write anything that matches as a paragraph, and then when you come and look at it, it's going to give you, let us learn about HTML paragraphs. HTML paragraphs. He said it is a good thing to keep on commenting on what you are doing. So A paragraph always starts on a new line and is usually a block of text. We are going to have a sample of paragraph. When you key in the word lorem and hit on tab, it is going to give you a paragraph. You come to your browser and look at our paragraph. The HTML p tag element defines a paragraph. A paragraph, the beginning of a paragraph and the end of a paragraph. Make sure you end your tags. We have a HTML horizontal rule, and HR element is used to separate content or define a change in a HTML page. So let us see how we are going to do that. We are going to add the HR tag, and it is an empty tag. This one, we don't close it. Put on that and put on a paragraph. A paragraph. We do lorem. I go to lorem 66 and click on tab, and then we come to our browser, and this is it. We have our first paragraph and we have our second paragraph. In between, we have a horizontal line. The next thing we are going to look at is HTML line breaks. It is an element that defines a line break. Like when we come here and insert this break, it is also an empty tag. It doesn't need to be closed. We go back to our browser and you see after this sentence, it breaks and starts a new line here. I will copy and paste this poem here. And in this poem, what you will realize is that this poem is going to be displayed on a continuous line. It does not appear as how we typed on our file. So how are we going to make it to appear exactly as we have typed it here? We are going to introduce an element called the pre-element. So we will come here and insert our pre-element, which has the beginning and it has an end. Now this code is inside the pre tag. Let us see how it is going to appear now. You see, after inserting the pre-element, you are able to see that now both the spaces and line breaks are now preserved. And that is how you are able to write a poem or a song in HTML. Go ahead and do practice of all the things that we have learned today, and I'll see you in the next video.